Sorry, I'm gonna do this in colors at this moment, and I'm gonna show you a series of things that you're gonna need a day to say. I started making this video in negative, I'm sorry, just starting all over, with a very funny weird things of abominables, there's still theirs, and I just want this to disappear and be fading. Do you know what this all is? 2003, 2004, while enduring, oh, look at the screen, is for the unstable still focus on my Android, and there is not a forgery. Is the unstable moving this nanotech that doesn't make no focus with my trembling hand. Sorry. So suddenly, at the reality of the soul, I used to being thinking that I would do one of my projects on the supposed Christianism that while during that time I went over confusion and destruction, not knowing who I were until the night it took me back. At the reality of thinking I will do some company with Oliveras, we're calling the family that we're trading as well, and I hope they to be okay and other night to bless them and take them away from this lousy crap, where I will ever making my company of teaching music, teaching singing, making rehearsal rooms, and I were about seeking for budgets and maybe some government of the City of Buenos Aires development ministry, social development, where they were giving these loans for the making production lines, where I went right in Belgrano Avenue for those days, thinking I will ever have the chance, but these were services, they were about a production line, so making some elements. And I was singing like so long in these old places, Talcahuano Street, Buenos Aires, and even others, singing for maybe I will have some budgets and some elementary for the making exactly my project with these people that I thought about making some interesting thing and living of it. So having a very business, and this is pianos in Juan Bautista Alberdi Avenue near of the Speedway. So I were all around seeking for budgets of all class of things, not only instruments but also sound. So I needed to know how much will ever that be, and if I will ever with this loan making something, and even the rent for the place for that to be possible in González Catán, which it were exactly with these people that went to work into Ciudad de Córdoba for the mother of this person, Gaston Oliveira, and I'm sorry if I hope they to be okay another night to help them, were about to having a job in a very hostelry, in a very resort, and they needed to work and they needed living better, and suddenly maybe just living from this city and certain lacra just like this. So suddenly I were all around and I found that in the clear of this I just were seeking for the possibilities I to do something and I to get for a possible loan. So I had my consultory or my consolation over that direction, that address of this place, Belgrano neighborhood. I'm sorry, Belgrano Avenue. In this house, this place, this neighborhood called San Telmo, near San Cristobal. San Telmo, where is this? I'm not sure there to be still now, but I were about to getting something, and suddenly I were at my house and where the whole as I slept, making witchcraft and turned to saying that I had something of pro music, of professional sound, pro show that she went for some budgets then, and she had to making and buying something like she couldn't because of I taken the budget in a paper way for the having prices and the product. The disgusting freak out atrophiated Policía Federal Argentina, and that I afraid on her, so she never went back no more. And I were all that longer about this, and turned to saying that also she wanted to buy an engine 1.7 Fiat diesel that she were requesting, and I had the paper that belongs to her, saying that in my house were my whole documents, everything that they needed for the being me and making what they had to do. Like it's not the first time they wants to robbing my whole document, saying that it's all forgery and making any excuse and any degeneration to get inside and making the robbery of my for the making what? Oh, I am not him. And much other shit. So suddenly, this class of things, for you to have an idea, were happening so long, and since before this brothel, and I'm sorry for the victims, were in fact, sorry, I'm unplugged on my battery, I'm trying to fill up, what exactly what it were. And I bought this Morgan pocket agent then for the making my organization on my day, because of I really needed so, and were something like I were making a lot about this all, and I liked it. So suddenly seeking for job and making everything as I were doing in 1998, but it were an old one that I used then, that it were cute out of having in the moment, and were not enough, so suddenly I went for others. Here I were seeking for the engine of the Sprinter, having a price about how to possibly making my own four-wheel drive with a very good service engine and some other. So in the middle of this all, also I kept, for you to having, the agent of the case of the supposed I were manipulating the system and saying lie and saying perjury and trying to prejudicing and making damages upon medical personnel to stealing them money, manipulating the system of justice. The Cuerpo Médico Forense Tribunales Argentina, Policía Federal Argentina, permanently the same shit with Melano Paz, Sancor Seguros, a very sick shit snake of a disgusting prostitute son of a snake that were ready to making any class of a sexual services with the supposedly being my defendant attorney, Graciela Susana Ruiz, for the making deals upon my future and my abandon of person and medical damages that this Ana Maria Pepi and Sandra Cerulo have destroying me and making all class of other generations in compound with Policía Federal Argentina, mercado de criminales y degenerados, for that never to happen. So we're permanently the same, this lousy shit of land. And for you to have, this is the photocopy that I have, a legal copy and signed by herself while I found her, what the odontologist said about the reality that I presented in front of the supposed instruction, understanding what it means. There is not communication by diseases, by blasi, motreva, clahimin, halid. There it says communication which is mechanic produced with periodont, right, coming inside of the piece. And further this, certain other class of things, and this, the agent that I were using, that I will ever robbed. See how he robbed? There's perras degeneradas, Sodoma, and bodies. And this was exactly what I were doing, to trying to making something which is practically empty except for certain things around what I had as activities inside that brothel pretender of church. Suddenly I have this that I want you to see. This is something for Alejandro. And I want you to see this. It's a letter someone has given to me for the reason felt confidentially about my person, and we were singing together and making some meetings about supposed evangelizing and having meetings with the community and peoples to just supposedly celebrating between friends, and I had no friends except for this person that were, seems like a respectable person that really wanted honestly to be nearing, and there were a lot of disgusting shit in the middle that I didn't produce and I didn't need. And suddenly much other, like, I don't know, there were a couple of more, but let's coming. I supposedly stolen this. Your run already has everything. The supposed the agent for the making on Catedral de la Fe, that I need to say that there were people that I really cared for, and I wanted they to be free and they to be okay, and this is not opportunistic. I need to come for the reality that I am for, making justice and be just. Fair enough. And these were kind of a very they says life school there in this, and there's not a dominical, is life school that they says the steps forwarding in the Christianism, which will be suddenly kind of same but in a very distinguished quality, and making this sanity, which will be healing one actually, like a very curse or something which there were provided, Sanity 2, for supposedly the leadershiping to healing themselves, praying and being with Adonai, which there are certain things like are not really for doing because of doesn't has no real and no congruently a character in front of Adonai. Because of this is kind of a how to say in curanderia, and I'm sorry for whoever to feel offended, but it's exactly that. So, and this is in and I were about making this and teaching and making and the reality that this my activity were exactly, oh, go to work. What are you expecting for? Don't you see? And going to work, and Adonai were saying to me, no, don't you do it because if I were under threat and were killing, murdering people, barras this, still then, and this sickness, hiding and making the blechev sivish koblevechlachi with Gonzales and others, and this one confusing for the first but evil for so much. And were really annoyingly bastard about my person in so much ways. I don't need to serve a very I need to be who I am, and I don't need to be put at like in Blevechadachatchani. I am not Simeon, I am not in Blevesechlachi, I am Elia. Who likes it or not, I'm so sorry. That's exactly what it is. And this is another letter. Give up that a person really were about long ago to trying to doing something about which this girl were a really nice girl, a very respectable person with problems like anybody else is around this disgusting land, but really respectable one. And I just get that. And I want you to see this. I stolen supposedly my identity even, my name. And you know what this is? Toilet paper. Because of Adonai doesn't need that, needs me, and it's the real and the genuinely, not the circus of this. So suddenly, for the point, I just kept that like documents like the rest of my realities about my life. So here you got Escuela de Vida, life school, and everything I say, and this is original, and they forged this, my signature, that I'm not using lately except for important meetings or legal. So suddenly the reality of this, I will be forging this video as well. It wouldn't be me, because if I didn't show my face. The sickness of this land is abominable in the whole of the ways. So suddenly also I got, forget me please, for you to have this circus that is really offensive and schlag in front of Adonai because of ain't no other, for you to have it. The medal supposedly I stolen to Gomorrah, saying that it were them and not me, which this name and this person right there and all of the experience, right, and this cut and brother were them and not me, supported by Osvaldo Carnival themselves. The same son of a snake dot and the bodies. So in the middle of this all, also I had to buy in with money of my mother this, and they contributed to stealing me and stealing to Adonai for I to never progress, and the Federal Police of Argentina to show how chunky and criminal and I was stealing everything and everybody for their demand to come out. You understand this? Come up and come out. Right? And blecha v'sishwa tama plecha chalim. You are her. And there's to saying, have you seen how he is stealing? So what the clear of this, suddenly we go through and I will rob everything like I had on experiences and I done right there and I never were there in. And there have to hiding by arranging with some bribe, Sodoma Trousers, Policía Federal Argentina, Fuerzas Armadas, Ejército Argentino, Cuerpo Médico Forense, de generación de mierda, Kirchners, especially tribunales and whatever the place, and Aníbal Fernández, pedófilo hijo de perra. because of it cannot be me, and I will never be no reality about this, and they will be led by the wind and not me, and I will still in the whole thing. And pero son los expertos, ¿no te das cuenta? Delira todo el tiempo. Ellos pasaron esas experiencias, and tells them, oh, the wind led me, and I saw the blechevesechta chemiskaptadi, meravasleti, and extortioning melikas, that I will ever have to come inside of the quarrels to asking for the trouser, and there took me up. And it were them, Gomorrah. Oh, we are going to be in the heaven, and we are the royal of Elebron, not him. Don't you see, we have its genetics, and we are going to come to Elebron. We are going to everybody, and we are going to come to heaven. We have rights. I'm telling you one thing, I'm sick of this, and this lousy shit ain't nothing. I needed to come to my land, where I belong with, Israel. And I wanted my baptizing about not this. But Adonai have me as well, and had me then, and will have me ever. And the reality is going to be buried in hell. But not me, not us. The disgusting hell crap. And suddenly and forgery. They need my documents, everything they need for what they have to do. Saying forgery while it's genuine, and not only Interpol, but United States of America, and also European states, and also Israel, Russia, China, Japan, justice parties, and the hair corroborated are all genuine. And the testimonies of my life, the real ones. Not the virtually shared Kirchners right on the background to the making the whole tribal strategy ghost for anyone to be interested in, oh, do you want to know the truth? Magic trousers, abominable shit. https www.brmcpm bdm bdr bdt xdod apnam documents bmc la verdad de mi vida, la realidad de mis lágrimas, la historia de mi dolor y toda la claridad de mi andar en medio de la degeneración argentina de Sodoma y Gomorra y su maldita perrada oficialista, Nazilandia, abominación reventada y su gran ramera evangelista. PDOC 111311 Middle Seaborn Bankers 1, the commands, middle CS, middle IBM. 44.NT systems recall F9, the last tool sold. This is still May 17th, Sunday, 2015. I am in this subway place in Flores neighborhood, this fast food, sandwiches and others. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm sorry for this. I don't want to compromise these people, but suddenly this were requested by International Criminal Court, while this perras telling, have you seen he robbed it all? And we are right because of we are Policía Federal Argentina, and you are going to go to hell, policía perra sucia reventada, abominable mierda. Criminales de cuarta, psicópatas del infierno. Al infierno se van. Sorry for this.